Hello and welcome to the Breakout Show. I just made that up. I'm Philip J. Bradbury, and it feels like an auspicious time to break out of the mess that we're in. So if you felt battered by life in some way, domestically, physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, politically, economically, it feels like this is the time to break out or break through that. And so for me, on 2 days ago, 1st of August, I published 2 books. One of them had been written by me. The other one was written with a friend, a business partner, and they both are very different books. One's a novel and one's non-fiction, but they both are about the same thing, about standing up for our authentic self. So the first one, so it feels like this has been 2 roads I've been walking at the same time. And they've eventually converged on the 1st of August. So the first one was, I lived in Ipswich probably 8 years ago, and through all of the stuff that happened there was a lot of corruption and the mayor went to jail and rah-de-rah. Anyway, so I started writing a series. So I started the first one, the trilogy, and the first one in the trilogy, and then that got taken over by another one. And so the second one in the trilogy got written first. So that's Scars Could Love. It was only published 2 days ago. I haven't got it in the mail yet. So all I can show you is a picture, which is probably back to front, is it? Scars Could Love. And that's a novel, a thriller, romance, combined with like a manual to help give people ideas about keeping themselves safe, particularly for women and girls. So it's a solo mum with a 13-year-old daughter, and she's been battered about by life in several different ways, and she's not giving up. And she meets other people who've been, if you like, battered about by life, and through the story, they find ways of stepping through that and also ways of keeping themselves safe on a daily basis. So that's kind of a novel wrapped up with a manual in a way. It was absolutely unintentional to do that, but I started with the novel and then a whole lot of things came to me, people and books and movies and all sorts of experiences as well. So that's kind of a fiction and a non-fiction at the same time. So that's Scars Could Love, and that was published on the 1st of August. And so that's about people standing up and stepping through the rubbish that they've been dealt with in life and becoming their authentic selves. So that was a fairly long journey. It takes a while to write a book, and it takes a while to write 3 books. And so the second road, so that's road 1, from Ipswich to here, 8 years, I think, something like that. And the other one started in, I think it was June last year. I was running one of my writing courses, and Teresa J. Bird came along to the first one, and then life turned up for her and she couldn't come along again. So I met her once, and I think it was in June last year. And then we've had sort of 10 little messages backwards and forwards and emails and stuff and texts. And eventually I went up her way. She lives a little way from me. And we realized that there's an amazing connection in terms of where we've come from and where we want to professionally, if you like. So we've had personal journeys that have not been without their struggles. We've both had black and white lives, good and bad. And what we want to do to take that knowledge, that experience, both professional, so she's got a masterate in counselling, and she's a spiritual counsellor and a psychic, and she's had a deep experience with philosophy, something like 20 years. And So there's a huge depth of knowledge there. And I've had my own coaching and a counsellor and grief counsellor for a hospice and a whole lot of other stuff that we've kind of both done that aren't exactly the same, but they fit together. And so I think it was probably June, I eventually got to her house. We finally met again after the first time a year beforehand. And I think Teresa first voiced the idea that we should do something together, run workshops. And it was just like, yeah. And I'm sure it was buzzing in my head, but I didn't voice it. I just thought, I'd love to do something with this woman. She's got so much wisdom and so much compassion and such a deep understanding of humans and knows what it's like to be down there, just like many of us have. So we've decided to run a series of workshops and seminars, whatever. We haven't called them anything in particular yet. And so we decided, okay, first thing, we'll do a book. So the last 2 months we wrote a book which culminated in being published on 2 days ago, 1st of August, same day as the other one. And this one's called Authentic You. Can you see that backwards? Again, hasn't arrived in the mail, so all we've got is a picture. So Authentic You is what the workshops are going to be about, the seminars. Play shops maybe. About helping people step out of the battering that they've had in life, out of the insanity that this life deals us. And sometimes that insanity gives us the impetus to go and do something else. So I think if I had not have had the gristle in my life, shall we say, I would not be doing this. I'd just be having a nice, peaceful life, sitting around watching TV, and I don't know what I'd be doing. But anyway, it's got me off my haunches, and the same with Teresa. She's had her struggles, shall we say. She's been battered about in ways that's got her realizing that people need help. And that's what we want to do. So it feels like this is a really auspicious time. Somehow, these two books have come together for me. Quite different books. One's a novel and one's non-fiction, and yet they're based around the same theme. It seems to be a theme now that we've had enough. We've had enough of the lies and the insanity and all of that crazy stuff that the world's been throwing at us over particularly the last, let's say, 5 years, since 2019, 6 years. And let's just walk through it and find the truth inside, find the authentic being that we are, so that we can walk with our power, purpose, and passion. And not living in survival, but in thriving. So I invite you to step into your power, to step into your passion, to step into your purpose, find that authenticity, and it feels like the universe is saying yes to all of this. Yes, yes, yes. And so it's what I've always done, said yes to the universe. And so this time it's yes to being authentic. Authentic You. So you're welcome to buy the book, or both of them, either of them, gift them, and you're welcome to call us and join us on our seminars. And you have an immensely authentic day.